The message you'll hear after I talk here is just a voice memo I left to another trader who had gone through a drawdown and is trying to find a strategy that fits and is maybe considering dabbling in other strategies. And we just have a discussion about that. I think it'll be relevant to a lot of people. So that's what's coming next.
Thanks for the message. That was really good, explaining how you feel. And this is the kind of stuff I like talking about because it's more universal. Anybody can, hey, should I buy if it goes above the trend line and all that kind of stuff? And that's not really going to help anybody. Um, okay, so you talked about feeling exhausted and wanting to push through it with work. That's not going to be successful. Spent my whole life battling that one because I just want to work really hard and continue to brute force things by hard work. And it doesn't work that way in this business. It can be a creative, intuitive business where you need to be open and free and just allowing opportunity to land in your lap. Because it's trading's really hard and sometimes it's easy, and you need to be clear-headed for the sometimes it's easy part. In term in terms of style drifting, like you don't know if you should be I'm this guy and I shouldn't become that guy, and I don't have time to, it's not smart to try different styles. I disagree with that. I think you are kind of always doing that, dabbling in different styles, but at some point you know what you're really good at and you kind of stick to one style at a certain point in your development. It doesn't mean you never venture and try to learn new things either. Even if you're really successful and you've been doing it for 20 years, you can still pick up different styles. Like I'm learning different styles right now, even though like I spent so many years trading futures and then I had to learn more about stocks, and I'm finally settling into a style that I like in the stock market now. The last 2 years have been me trying all kinds of different stuff. I found lots of things that didn't work for me. And sometimes to find out who you are, you have to find out who you aren't or what's not going to work. And the only way you do that is from trying. But the thing is I oftentimes would do it with too much size and too much money. Just because you were successful in one thing doesn't mean you're going to be in the new thing. So you might have capital to throw at something new, and it just doesn't work that way. You have to be careful and responsible with the money and the risk side, but you need to keep taking those chances and figuring out what fits with your personality, what's sustainable. Like if you just hate doing something every day and it's pure brutal hard work, you're never going to get an edge at that because someone else is they're gonna enjoy that work and do a lot more than you. So working hard isn't really grinding as much as it is having hours melt away because you love what you're doing. So, you put in 10 hours in a day, but you don't even know that it felt like 1 hour. Well, that's a good place to be. It means that the work is easy for you in a sense. So that's where you want to go. I think it's always been useful for me. And a lot of times too, it works the opposite way. When you find that you're good at something, you start to like it more. So it can go the other way, but you don't be afraid to dabble with different stuff. Not at all. And when you feel exhausted or you feel beat up because you've had some bad days, the best thing you can do is take some time off. Take a day off. It doesn't matter how busy it is or what you think you would have done. You probably would have went in there and screwed it up if you're not in the right mindset. You would have traded too big, got out, watched the move go without you. You would have hesitated, not taken the trade. It's the stuff that we all go through. And there's never a point where all of a sudden you don't go through it anymore. It's like, oh, when I get a certain age or I make a certain amount of money, or if I'm trading a certain size, it's just I'm not going to do this anymore. No, you still do it. It's just that it might hurt more, but that's relative to your account. You still do it, and you just do it maybe a little bit less. And like a quarterback who's been around for a long time, they throw less interceptions. They've seen more defenses, but they still make mistakes. Still have days where they're not fresh mentally. So this is a constant battle in terms of keeping yourself fresh and balanced and creative. You have to have that time away. Sometimes changing your environment can really help too. Go to a coffee shop for a day, research some stuff. I love when you're going over things that did work in the past and say, okay, when I've had good trades, what do they have in common? Let's do more of what works. And then when I look at my trades that didn't work, let's do more of what doesn't work. And you can kind of lay out that list. I think that can snap you sometimes into a better mindset. Also, what helps me is I do a temporary trading journal for when I'm really struggling. I'll just write down on a piece of paper, like a throwaway notepad. I'll rip out the paper and I'll say, this is what I think today. This is what I'm looking to do. If this happens, I'm going to do it. And if it happens, I do it. And then if I'm wrong, I get out. That's okay. I did the trade. I listened to myself and I throw that away at the end of the day. The next day I do the same thing. And it at least gets me back to a process where I'm listening to myself, I'm following my risk. And then from there, slowly you start to kind of get your wheels back. It just takes one trade and you feel like you're back. No matter how bad it is, one trade puts you back. So that's how I would assess all of that. Hopefully that's helpful.